Welcome back, dear friends, to our 9th episode of Crimson Academy
Junior! That's right, dear friends. This is Crimson Academy Junior, and we are in Huntsville, Alabama. So before we get into our episode for today, we'll start off with 2 prayers.
O Lord, make these children excellent plants. Let them grow and develop in the garden of thy covenant, and bestow freshness and beauty through the outpourings of the clouds of the Abha kingdom. O thou kind Lord, I am a little child. Exalt me by admitting me to the kingdom. I am earthly, make me heavenly. I am of the world below, let me belong to the realm above. Gloomy, suffer me to become radiant. Material, make me spiritual. And grant that I may manifest thine infinite bounties. Thou art the powerful, the all-loving. Abdu'l-Baha.
O my God, my Lord and my Master, I have detached myself from my kindred, and have sought through thee to become independent from all that dwell on earth, and ever ready to receive that which is praiseworthy in thy sight. Bestow upon me such good as will make me independent from aught else but thee, and grant me an ampler share of thy boundless favors. Verily, thou art the Lord of grace abounding.
Very good, thank you. So as mentioned, dear friends, we are in Huntsville, Alabama, and we are visiting with, please introduce yourself.
I am Jame.
Excellent, Jame Fananapazir, and
I am Tahara and I'm 8 years old.
8 years old, and how old are you, Jame?
14.
He's 14 years old, and?
I'm Tali and I'm 12.
12. Yes, and as mentioned, we're in Huntsville, Alabama. So, dear friends, as Crimson Academy Junior, every so often we travel and visit different cities, different communities, and we, in this episode, we're in Alabama, right? That's right. So, in this episode, dear friends, the virtue of the week is, do you know, Ella? No, she doesn't know. It's honesty. So our virtue of the week is honesty. And Ella, do you know a Baha'i quote on honesty?
Yes.
You do? Go for it.
Truthfulness is the foundation of human virtues.
There you go. That's right. Truthfulness is the foundation of all human virtues. So this is the Baha'i quote that we also find it in our Ruhi book. So truthfulness is the foundation of all human virtues. So before we get into exploring the aspects of honesty and truthfulness, Jean-Marie, do you have an example of truthfulness in your either experiences or something that you would like to share with us on the importance of truthfulness?
Well, for example, I guess if you're playing Monopoly, if you don't take extra money from the bank, and you don't like move extra spaces or less spaces so that you can get better moves.
Very good example, right? So this is an example we have all played the game of Monopoly, and so as long as if we are honest, we're not taking extra money out of the bank, you know? So in life, in business, in our families, if we do not practice honesty, our businesses, our lives, whether you're a husband and wife, if you're dishonest to each other, that family would break up. I mean, if you're not honest even as sisters and brothers, or the relationship would not be a good relationship, right? If you're lying and cheating, you would not get along. Ella, you had a good example also on honesty. Would you like to share that one too?
Uh-huh.
Okay, go for it.
So like, for example, if
So like if I play with like a hammer and I'm not supposed to, I should tell my parents even though they might get mad. I don't play with a hammer and I don't tell them. I tell them.
So if Daddy comes up to you and says, Ella, did you play with the hammer? What would you say?
Yes.
You would say, yes, Daddy, I played with the hammer. Even if Daddy got upset, right? Because you would be honest. So you should not be, fear the repercussion and lie. This is not, because truthfulness is the foundation. So all these wonderful virtues that we've talked about, such as perseverance and courage and generosity and kindness and love that we've covered in past classes. The foundation, the one that is at the very base of all the virtues is truthfulness. So you could actually say that the most important, and technically most important virtue is truthfulness. Because truthfulness comes with the aspect also of purity. Purity of motive, purity. If you do not do something with that level of purity of motive, that's what truthfulness is. It's that level of doing something with that level of honesty. You do it for the right motive. If you don't do it, you could love someone, but if you're trying to get something out of it, you're not being truthful, right? So if you love someone truly and truthfully, that is meaningful. If, for example, your parents, right? If they say, I love you, but they're trying to get something out of you, that's not real love, And so we want to have and work on this virtue of the week, right, Allah? So Jean, Tale, and Tyre, this is our virtue of the week. So as we are working on ourselves, trying to better ourselves every day and every week, saying our prayers, reading the writings, we also need to look at the virtues within these writings with that lens and say, how did Abdu'l-Baha practice love? How did Abdu'l-Baha practice patience? How did Abdu'l-Baha practice honesty? And when we look at that, then we can look at it in our lives and see, yeah, I can work on my own self a little bit better and work a little bit more on honesty. So, dear friends, that is our virtue of the week. So, moving on, right? So our next section, dear friends, is as we are in the month of what? Actually, we're in this month, we're in the period of, what is this period called?
Ayamiha.
Ayamiha! So here at Crimson Academy Junior, we all want to say, Happy Ayamiha! We love every one of you. So happy Ayamiha. And after Ayamiha, everyone knows, is the Baha'i fast. And so today's topic is on the Baha'i fast. And I'm going to say just a few things on the Baha'i fast. I actually have a very, very nice long talk, which I'll say for another session. But today will be an abridged session on the Baha'i fast. The important aspects of it, the wisdom behind it, the reasons the Baha'is fast, the exemptions on the Baha'i fast. So I'll go into it. All of these guys are still young and are not fasting as they are exempt on that aspect. But it's so important as all children as they grow up to understand the beauty of the Baha'i fast. That this is a ladder for the spiritual progression of our souls. So I'm first going to read a few things, and dear friends, any questions you have at any point, jump in, and if you have any thoughts or that come up, share it, okay? So, and most of these words are not mine. I wanted to share these extracts from the writings, so you hear these words. So the first this is a question that was addressed to His Holiness Abdu'l-Baha, the center of the covenant. So the question is, what divine wisdom is there in fasting? So we've all heard of fasts, and there are fasts in all these different faiths. So What divine wisdom is there in fasting? So this is Abdu'l-Baha's answer. The divine wisdom in fasting is manifold, meaning there's many answers to this. Among them is this. So first, as during those days, the period of fasting which the followers afterward observe, the manifestation of the Son of Reality through divine inspiration is engaged in the descent, revealing of verses, the instituting of divine law and the arrangement of teachings. Through excessive occupation and intense attraction, there remains no condition or time for eating and drinking. For example, when His Holiness Moses went to Mount Sinai and there engaged in instituting the law of God, he fasted 40 days. So this is Moses we're talking about. Fasted 40 days for the purpose of awakening and admonishing the people of Israel. So this is two reasons that Moses fasted. One was, he said, for instituting the law of God. He fasted 40 days. For the purpose of awakening. Okay? So awakening the people, he was fasting. The second one was to admonish the people of Israel. Admonish means to tell them, to give them the law of God. Then, Abdu'l-Baha goes on. He says, likewise, His Holiness Christ, this is Jesus Christ, founder of Christianity, right, Allah? So likewise, His Holiness Christ, in the beginning of instituting the spiritual law, the systematizing of the teachings and the arrangement of councils, for 40 days abstained from eating and drinking. This is amazing. I mean, not to eat for 40 days and not to drink. So this is His Holiness Jesus Christ. In the beginning, the disciples and Christians fasted. Later, the assemblages of the chief Christians changed fasting into Lenten observances. Dear friends, you've all heard of the month of Lent. So this was later on changed into the period of Lent. But before, it was a long period of fasting. Likewise, this is Abdu'l-Baha talking, likewise, the Quran, having descended in the month of Ramadan, fasting during that month became a duty. So we've already addressed three different faiths, traditions in the sense of, the Moses, the Mosaic law, the Christian, and now Islam. So Abdu'l-Baha goes on. He says, in like manner, His Holiness the Supreme, His Holiness the Bab, in the beginning of the manifestation, through the excessive effect of descending of verses, passed days in which his nourishment was reduced to tea only. So His Holiness the Bab only drank tea. That was it. For great periods of time. Likewise, the Blessed Beauty, His Holiness Baha'u'llah, when busy with instituting the divine teachings and during the days when the verses, the Word of God, descended continuously through the great effect of the verses and the throbbing of the heart, took no food except the least amount. So this is His Holiness Baha'u'llah. The purpose is this. Now, dear friends, pay attention. This is very, very important. Now, so this is one of the laws in Kitab Aqdas. It's the Baha'i law of fasting. And this is Abdu'l-Baha explaining the wisdom of fasting. He says the purpose is this. In order to follow the divine manifestations and for the purpose of admonition and the commemoration of their state, it became incumbent upon the people to fast during those days. It's very nice here. For every sincere soul who has a beloved longs to experience that state in which his beloved is. So if you love someone, right? You love someone. Love. You want to do everything that loved one wants, right? So, and as Baha'is, as lovers of Baha'u'llah, as lovers of that great light, this supreme essence that has animated from time to time, as we are lovers of that, we want to do whatever their wishes, whatever they do. And if they are fasting, we want to fast. This is what Abdul Baha is saying. So our example were His Holiness Jesus Christ. How beautiful. I mean, He fasted for 40 days. How much love we have for His Holiness Jesus Christ. How much love we have for Moses. He fasted. And a love for His Holiness Muhammad and his revelation. He fasted. And His Holiness the Bab and Baha'u'llah. So this is what Abdul Baha is saying. For every sincere soul. And sincere means truth. This is what it means. Sincerity means truthfulness, honesty. So it says, if you are honest and pure of motive, you will also follow in the examples of these divine lights. Right? Right, Ella? Excellent. Any questions? No, this is pretty straightforward. So, carrying on. Now, it says, now since in this millennial day, His Holiness the Supreme Bab fasted many days, and the Blessed Beauty Baha'u'llah took but little food or drink, it becomes necessary that the friends should follow that example. For thus saith in the Tablet of Visitation. So we all have read the Tablet of Visitation. It says, they, the believers, have followed that which they were commanded for the love of thee. Now, our highest station as followers of this light is lovers of the light. This is how the moth to the candle. We should become so enamored with that light. And what is that light? It is that light that have animated these great souls, such as His Holiness Jesus Christ, such as His Holiness Buddha, Krishna, His Holiness Muhammad, His Holiness the Bab, His Holiness Baha'u'llah. We should become lovers. And lovers means whatever they say, whatever they do, whatever they act, even they act, we should work to emulate in their example. So this is what in the Tablet of Visitation says, we should become lovers. Okay? Now, there's just a few more wisdoms on fasting that Abdul Baha elaborates on. He says, this is just one of the wisdoms of fasting that we talked about, that following in their example. Now, the second wisdom is this. Fasting is the cause of awakening of man. Cause of awakening. Now, each one of us have a soul. And this was gifted to us not at the moment of birth, it's at the moment of conception. Okay? And the conception is when your true life comes into being, the physical life, as well as our spiritual life comes into being. So our soul is a gift. And where is our soul? Ella, do you know where our souls are?
No.
No? John, do you know where your soul is?
I guess it's kind of, it's in us, like in our hearts.
In our spiritual hearts.
Very good. Tariq, got closer. Very good. Excellent. Now, very good, Jameh. The soul is not a physical thing. Okay? You can't touch it. Okay? Can't be like, I got the soul, right? And you can't smell it. You can't.
I will steal your soul.
Yeah, you can't. It's not a tangible thing. It's not. You can't weigh it. Okay? So our souls are in a spiritual plane. Okay? And what's interesting is when the soul comes into creation, when we come into creation, when at the moment of conception, when we come into having our first cells coming to life, our soul is gifted. And it's in a spiritual plane. But what Baha'u'llah says is there is an affiliation, a connection between our soul to our body. Okay? It's like there's a little spiritual string connecting. Okay? Now, this entire wonderful world that we live in is our school. And it is a school for the acquisition of virtues. Okay? Now, as we go through life, day by day, we have to work on gathering these virtues in us, gathering more and more and more and more, more and more and more love, more and more kindness, more and more generosity. As our example is Abdul Baha, and he was the perfect exemplar. The complete panoply of all virtues was Abdul Baha. He had all of them. He's Abdul Baha. Now, so we have to work on this acquisition of virtues, because as in a previous episode, Ella, remember I talked about this, that the spiritual currency of the worlds to come, after this world we'll enter into spiritual world. Our souls will continue on, one world after another, right? The spiritual currency for those worlds is virtues. If you have not acquired them here, you will be poor in the worlds to come. This is what Baha'u'llah talks about. He says, this is the world to gain your virtues, gain these qualities, so that you know, in the worlds to come, Jame right here will be so spiritually rich in the worlds to come. Right? And Tare and Tale and Ella will be so spiritually wonderful that all the souls of the worlds to come will be so attracted to them. This is what Abdul Baha wants. And he talks about that fasting is awakening of man. That the heart becomes tender. And the spirituality of man increases. And Abdul Baha goes on, he says, this is produced by the fact that man's thoughts will be confined to the commemoration of God. So it's not every day that we put all our 100% focus on God, right? It's not easy, you know? And every day we eat, we don't even think about it. When we're hungry, we eat. When we're thirsty, we drink. But during the Baha'i fast, now during those 19 days, we are giving our love, our heart, everything to Baha'u'llah, as we should do the whole year. But during this period of time, it's very special. It says that every hour has special potency, has a special effect. Every hour of the Baha'i fast. And we are giving up just food and drink. And it's not even the whole day. It's just from sunrise to sunset to Baha'u'llah. And it's such a gift of obedience and love. And that is really what the fast is. It's a way of showing how much you love your Lord. I will give up my food and my drink from the sunrise to the sunset. That's right, it's very simple. Now, Abdul Baha goes on. He says the third wisdom. So the first one was, everyone remembering? First one was out of example of the manifestation, out of example of Abdul Baha, that we do it out of love that we fast. The second one, it is awakening of man that we fast. The spiritual capacities. Because it talks about that every individual has these capacities latent within them. These giant gems of hidden mysteries within you. We've all been given these gifts. Fasting starts opening them up, right? And making these gems of hidden mysteries come to reality. And this is, now, third wisdom, Abdul Baha. And this is, I believe there's maybe a few more, but third wisdom, and then I'll read the last quote. And this is from Abdul Baha, recorded by Corinne True, Star of the West, okay? Third wisdom of fasting. It says, fasting is of two kinds. There's material and spiritual. That's right, Ella. Good job, my baby. High fives. And high five over here, John, man. High five over Tale. I love it. You guys are paying such good attention. Okay? Third wisdom of fasting. Two kinds. Material, spiritual. The material fasting, very simple. Abstaining from food or drink. That is the appetites of the body. But spiritual, ideal fasting is this, that man abstain from selfish passions from negligence and from satanic animal traits. So anything, dear friends, anything that comes in between you and your Lord, all the bad thoughts. So you're now abstaining from anything bad thoughts, bad actions, bad behaviors. This is what we should work on. So every day we're, as Ella, what was it? Strive.
That your actions day by day
Maybe beautiful prayers, right? So every day, every single day, we need to strive that our actions may bring what? Beautiful prayers. Beautiful prayers, right? And the word is strive. Strive means it's a little hard, right? And we have to have persistence. Keep at it, right? That was one of our virtues of the week. It was persistence. Keep at it, keep at it, keep at it, keep at it is strive. So and fasting is not like, hey, I did day 1, and it was pretty good, but tomorrow I'm kind of hungry, No, this is the beauty of the entire faith, is that no one is going to say, hey, are you fasting? Or why are you not fasting? Or the relationship is between you and your Lord. You and your Lord. And the whole beauty of this beautiful faith is that it is all about love. Creating that relationship between you and your Lord. Ever becoming closer and closer. The fasting is all about falling more and more in love with your Lord. Obligatory prayer is all about falling more and more and more in love with your Lord. This is really what the whole faith is about, is falling in love and love with your Creator, as we are just the painting. Jean here is a great artist, and so and my little Ella here he loves to do art, and I'm sure you two both love art, right? And all of you out there love art. We are just the product of our Lord, the painting, as they say. And the painting, if the painting says, I am the best thing there is, there's nothing better than me. What about the painter, the one that created it, right? We should turn towards the painter and say, thank you, thank you, thank you for creating me. Thank you for every brush stroke that have made me. Thank you for everything. And pour our hearts out towards our Creator every day. This is what prayers is. And we should also, dear friends, don't forget this, read the writings, because this is how we know what our Lord wants for us to do, if we don't read the writings. So we need to read the writings. Baha'u'llah says, recite the verses every morn and every eve. Means read the writings. This is how we know what to do, right? If we don't...
Kind of like the quotation, let each morn be better than its eve, and let each morn be richer than its yesterday.
Exactly. Perfect, Tyra. That's exactly right. So let each morn be better than its eve, right? This is what Tyra said. So every day we need to work on ourselves. So every day, Ella would be a better day, Ella tomorrow, because she has worked on herself. And Jameh would be a better Jameh. He works on himself and trying to be a kinder, gentler, more loving individual. So this is how we progress. And Baha'u'llah says that as in this day and age, we are working on creating an ever-advancing civilization. So every one of us works to become better, right? Right? I love it. So these are just some of the wisdoms of fasting. Now, as today is going to be an abbreviated episode, now I'm going to go into the period of fasting is how long? Does anyone know? How long is the period of fasting?
19 days.
19 days. And it's from what time to what time?
Sunrise to sunset.
Sunrise to sunset. These guys are so smart. Right, Ella? 19 days. Show me 19. 10 and 9. 10 and 9. So it's 19 days. And it's the same period of time. It doesn't move around in the year. So it's generally from March 2nd to the 20th, okay? It's generally in that period, depending on when, and also when Nowruz is, okay? So it's generally when, during that period, it's 19 days, okay? This year it happens to be a leap year, so it's been moved, it's 5 days of a Yamiha. So generally March 2nd to 20th, 19 days, and we abstain from food and drink from, as Jean said. So from sunrise to sunset. Okay, so as this is an abbreviated episode, I just have one last things I'm going to say, because I got already a signal to come to a close. So that was what that was. So fasting is, as I mentioned, is essentially a period of meditation, prayer, spiritual recuperation. Because as we all go through our lives, you know, we are constantly being tested. We get angry, we get unhappy, we get down, we get, and often our minds are not on our Creator, our Lord, the one that has given us everything and our love, you know. So fasting really helps us realign our thoughts, calm us down, bring us back, center us on our love. Really, that's what fasting does. It strives to readjust our inner life, and it is refreshing and reinvigorating. So I have so many wonderful quotes, and I kind of delve into this. I'll probably do it in a separate session, but I want to just share this. One last thing. What are the exemptions to the fast? Okay, so this is just the last thing
What's an exemption?
Beautiful question, Tara. What is an exemption? Do you know, Ella?
No.
No. Does Jama know? No. Does Tala know?
It's like an exception.
Exception. So it's saying everyone can fast except for these reasons. Okay? So these are the reasons. Oh, I'm going to read this one last quote too. Obligatory prayer. So obligatory prayer and fasting. Okay? One is called the sun and one is called the moon. Okay? These are the twin orbs. Obligatory prayer and fasting. And one last session before, I talked about the importance of obligatory prayer. Everyone has to go to the doctor, you know? And this is really Baha'u'llah, these divine lights are your doctor. And imagine Baha'u'llah says, hey, you have an appointment every day with me, and it could be either from the period of noon to sunset, which is the short obligatory prayer, or it could be 3 times a day, which would be the medium obligatory prayer, or any time during the day, which during the 24 hours, which would be the long obligatory prayer. He gives you the choice, but he says, "Come for your appointment." And when you go to the doctor, it's not for the benefit of the doctor. The doctor doesn't get anything out of it. It's really for the patient, right? And that's what Baha'u'llah is saying. He says, come to me. It is for your own spiritual benefit. Come to me. I love you, I love you, I love you. 1,000 love you. Come to me. Every day. That's what love obligatory prayer is. And it increases the love, the burning love you have towards your Lord is obligatory prayer. And the other one, as I said, obligatory prayer, fasting. They go hand in hand. Okay? Now, going back to exemptions. Okay? And I have them all here. Who are exempted from fasting? Now, if you are traveling, and it's a long travel period, over 8 hours, the whole period of the travel, you're exempted. Because traveling is tiring, and Baha'u'llah said if it's a long period of travel, you're exempted. If you are ill, sick.
Daddy, what is the word that you just said?
Travel?
No.
Ill? Which word, baby?
The word that you
Exempted?
Uh-huh.
Exempted means you don't have to do it. Okay? So exempted means you don't have to do it. Okay? You got it?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. If you are sick, like little Emma, Ella's little sister, she is sick. That's why she's not with us today. She's resting. She is sick, and obviously she's not 15 yet, so she doesn't have to fast. So, but if she was 15 and she was sick, she wouldn't be fasting, right? Now, fasting for Baha'is is from the ages of 15 years old to 70. So 15 years old is the age of maturity as Baha'is, and it's a very significant age and as Baha'is, and all the way to the age of 70. Okay, that's the period of fasting. The other two exemptions are women with child. So if you're pregnant, okay, or if you are breastfeeding, or you're menstruating, going through the courses. Those are exemptions, okay? And the last one is those doing heavy labor. If you're, doing construction, anything to do with heavy labor, manual labor, as a job or anything, you're exempted. And you see how wonderful Baha'u'llah is in giving all of these exemptions in the sense of, he really wants the individual to fast, but these are all out of divine wisdom. If you're sick, you shouldn't fast. This is the exemption. So, dear friends, as this is an abbreviated episode, we love you, we love you, we love you. And before we close, our very, very, very last thing of our session is
Ask Ella.
Ask Ella. So, one of our dear friends, I just said Rhode Island, okay? So that they're from Rhode Island. It was a little girl, and didn't have a name. It was just said it was Girl Rhode Island. So I guess that's all I got. The question is, Ella, do you have any other fun things to do for Ayamiha? This is very similar to what I believe it was Nabil from Los Angeles said last week. So, and we can ask Jame here and Tale and Tare. So for other fun ideas, because we are on our, I believe, 4th day of Ayamiha, and tomorrow will be the last day of Ayamiha. So do you have any other fun ideas, whether individually, as a family, or a community? And so that's some ideas for fun ideas for Ayamiha. So we can give out our ideas. Okay, so Ella, you're up first, and then I'll pass it off to Jame and Tara, okay? So Ella, do you have any fun ideas for our dear friend in Rhode Island? Go for it.
We do arts and crafts.
Arts and crafts, okay. Okay. What's arts and craft? Do you have any arts and craft specific idea? Like doing what?
Like writing something to my friends saying Happy
Ayamiha. So you could give gift cards or something, or like a card and give it to your friends and say Happy Ayamiha. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else, Ella?
No.
No. Okay. We pass it off to Jean. Go for it.
Well, today we were at a foster home called the Harris Home, and we our whole family we all were we were cleaning up the place, basically like trimming trees, doing gardening, stuff like that for service, and it was really fun. We all enjoyed it.
Excellent, Jame. He hit on the head, as they say, the nail on the head. So this is so important. So Ayamiha is not just about here's a gift, it's not just about gifts, okay? How wonderful that is, and it's great and a lot of fun. But also Ayamiha is about service. The more that as families, individuals, and communities do service together, this will bring so much joy to your community's lives, okay? Dear friends, do you have any other thoughts on Ayamiha?
Not really.
No?
You can bake goods for somebody and get together with your Baha'i community to plan like a party and invite all your neighborhood friends.
Excellent. Love it. So you can do baked goods, you can have gatherings. So that's it, dear friends. Okay, from all of us here at Crimson Academy Junior, we love you. Signing out. One more thing here at Crimson Academy Junior.